And this is a mad one. And I don't ever condone doing this because if you're a fan, like I've always been raised that if you're a fan of a team, don't boo your own team. Apparently, Stephanie White got booed before the game by fans. Like, really? Really? I get it. I understand criticism of Stephanie White. I understand a lot of the criticism of Stephanie White. I understand that some of the criticism, in my opinion, has gone beyond the realm of basketball. But like, it's kind of what you signed up for. But I'm going to be real. Booing a coach or booing players at home games is not what you want to see. Like, there's no world in which booing Stephanie White is going to help anything for the Fever. There's just not. It is as simple as that. Like, whatever people want to say or do online, that can be blanked out. If the home team are out, like, Stephanie White should support her own team over opponents. Yeah, that might be true. But, like, I don't even understand. Like, the coach chooses who's on the floor. If the coach is rattled because their own fans are booing them, we get Chris Koklanes. Like, a person who forgot how to coach midway through last year. Like, he literally forgot how to coach. Knicks get it worse. I agree. But no one was booing Mike Brown last year. Booing is the only way for Steph White to correct course. You've got Caitlin Clark for the first time ever. We've got Caitlin Clark calling out fans. That is how bad it got. For the first time ever, we've got Caitlin Clark calling out fans. And if we're being clear here, I made the point after the last game that if what Stephanie White is saying publicly is being said privately, she'll have lost the team. It's clear she hasn't lost the team after today. It's clear. There's no excuse to Stephanie White's comments. I agree with that. But, like, I'm sorry. It's like if the Fever booed Sid Colson and Bree Turner all last year. Like, what is that going to accomplish? Lose your home court advantage. I don't care. I've criticized Stephanie White more than most people online. But, like, you're not, like, if you are a home fan going to boo your own team, especially when your team's good, when your team's really good, it's like, there's nothing to be gained from it. There's not. And even if I agree with the Stephanie White criticism, I think her response was bullshit about Dejanay. I don't think Stephanie White should be in a job next year. I agree with so much of the criticism. But there's nothing to be gained from this. You've got to look at when you're a fan of a team, it's like your job at home games is to get behind the team. We have now got our coach getting booed in arena. Like, I cannot remember the last time that's happened to I've heard of that happening to a team. Their coach got booed, a good team, and their coach got booed. Like, Maisha Hines-Allen literally basically got behind Chris Koklanis and started arguing with fans last year over that. And you don't want players who clearly, again, I don't know why. I don't like what Steph White says publicly. Clearly, Stephanie White has the backing of the team privately. Obviously, Stephanie White is a snake oil salesperson. As in, nothing she says publicly means anything. She says words. She says words publicly. We know that. Nothing Stephanie White says, from our perspective, should ever be believed. But clearly the players like her. And clearly these players would run through a wall for her. So, at the end of the day, as long as she's the coach, there's no good booing her. Because as much as people are like, oh yeah, the fans can get Stephanie White out. The only person that has the power to get Stephanie White out of there is Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Mitchell, who will never do it. Kelsey will never do that. The only person that actually maybe have the power to get rid of Stephanie White is Caitlin Clark. And clearly she doesn't want to. So, at this stage, like, I think there's a big difference between, like, criticizing Stephanie White's decisions, criticizing Stephanie White's what she says publicly, which I think there's a lot to be criticized there. I have myself have problems with what she says publicly. But, like, to make the extras, I got excited when they signed her. Yeah, I did, because I had heard they had signed her for $400K. I had heard she was offered $550K by another team and signed for $400, not $800. If you guys saw it, my tweets when her contract got released, like, every one of these players likes Stephanie White, and that's clear. When we go further, and as you're seeing, pretending that Stephanie White is brainwashing these players, we don't know. All we see is the public-facing snake oil salesperson that is Stephanie White. And is that her tactic publicly, and she's a different person privately? Maybe. Maybe not. And maybe the people are right when it comes to Steph. Maybe they are. There's a lot of weird things and a lot of things to criticize Stephanie White for, and I agree with a lot of them. But if we're being real here, like, some of it is just fan fiction. Some of the criticism of Stephanie White is legitimate fan fiction. And it's got to the stage now where the in-arena fans are turning on her. She sucks. I don't disagree. Like, you can't say Stephanie White sucks. Stephanie White has won a Coach of the Year. Stephanie White has made a finals. Stephanie White has overperformed with bad teams. Like, you can't say Stephanie White sucks as a coach. You can't. She's had too much success for that. You can say she's the wrong coach, and I agree with that. But, like, there's a difference between criticizing her as a coach, which you're well in your right to do, and saying basically that she's a narcissist who's brainwashing the entire team. Like, can we be real here? These are crazy accusations. And can we take a step back on a human level? These accusations for somebody we don't know, and not just their public facing, going and pretending like we know who she is behind the scenes to the extent where that happens. Like, that's crazy. Again, all we know is the snake oil salesperson that is public facing Stephanie White, which is a snake oil salesperson. And for lack of a better word, like, does not defend her team privately, is not what you want for somebody stepping out. And is absolutely, by the way, partially at fault for some of this division. But, like, come on now. Come on. We don't, like, go... The way people are going at Stephanie White behind the scenes is no different than the Caitlin Clark haters pretending they know Caitlin Clark and putting attributes on Caitlin Clark behind the scenes. Like, people being like, oh, Caitlin's telling Sophie to do all this, you know, Caitlin's doing this, and this. She's pulling the strings behind the scenes. It's all the same logic. Because, again, Stephanie White, the shit she says in public is so annoying. I agree. But these players clearly like her. They clearly like her, and they're clearly playing for her. And until that stops, there is no point in arena going and booing Stephanie White.